All right, Shalom. Of course, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Yahweh who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And I just wanted to, what sparked my interest to do this video is I was just watching a series called America Unearthed. And this one episode, they were going over this, what is this thing called? The Egyptian obelisk, I believe it's pronounced, which is basically the same thing as the Washington Monument, right? The same shape as that. So apparently, over in Central Park in New York, they have a Egyptian obelisk that's actually a real one, right? It's not like a replica. It actually is a real one taken from Egypt that was erected, I believe it was like 1400 years before Christ or something like that. Really interesting. I actually will leave a link to the episode in the comment section if you'd like to give that a watch. You can find it down there. But when I was watching this series, and I like this series, right? The America Unearthed, even though, as I say, shit, I haven't watched TV in like 10 years, right? I haven't turned on the TV to watch a TV show or a movie on cable television. I haven't done that since I was like 11 years old, right? So about 10 years now. So, right, so shit, I don't even have cable television. I think that's like in today's day and age, that's basically like a waste of money because you can find whatever movie or whatever TV show you like to watch. It's available on these streaming services like Hulu or Netflix or things like that. So all you really need today is just an internet connection, right? That's all you need. No need to pay $100 a month, $50 a month for a cable bill when you can just use internet to do the exact same thing at the cable will allow you to do. Except the internet, you have much more at your disposal compared to just cable, right? Anything you can watch on cable, you can do the exact same thing and more with internet, right? So my opinion is cable in today's world, it's that's a thing of the past, and nobody really needs that in the world today. All you really need is an internet connection. But anyway, I digress. What sparked my interest when I was watching this this video, or what would you call it, documentary or an episode, whatever you call it. One thing that came to mind when I was watching this was what Revelation chapter 11 verse 8, and it reads, "Their bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also the Lord was crucified." Right. So it's talking about there's a city that is spiritually compared to Sodom and Egypt. Now, those of us who know these scriptures, well, that city there, that's talking about the United States, right? America is Babylon, aka Egypt, aka Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And all of the other, kingdoms beforehand basically put all together here. That's why, over here in America, man, you have these strip malls where you can find, Italian food, Mexican food, Chinese food, all of these different, cultures. They can all basically set up shop over here, and you can have an option, to treat yourself to all of these different, foods from all these other cultures around the world. Why? Because America is a great melting pot, right? Everybody is trying to come over here. I mean, shit, you have people literally dying every day, trying to flee to America, man. You have people risking their lives and, many people dying each day trying to come over to this country. Why? Because, the people around the world, they view America as being a city of gold. Right, they view this place as being like heaven on earth, is what people in, say, Africa, India, China, view America as, man. So people are willing to risk their lives to just have a chance to make it here in America. Now, like I remember, it was like what 2 months ago. You had this incident that happened over, I believe it was near New York or something. And what happened was there was like a boat that was captured by the Coast Guards over there, where there was like 200 plus immigrants, on this boat who were trying to flee from, I believe it was Haiti or something they came from, to try to make it over to the United States. Right, so it shows the point, man, that people are willing to risk their lives, just to make it over here to America, just to have a chance of, getting that American dream. So anyway, going back to the point, so it just shows that, well, America is Egypt. You literally have a Egyptian obelisk over in Central Park in New York City that is literally from Egypt, right? Like it's not a replica. They literally, if you do the research on this monument that they have set up, based on what they said about it, they brought it over on a ship in like I believe it was like the 1880s. They said, right? It weighs like 200, what is it, 200,000 tons? They said, or something like that. Some crazy shit, man. But here it is. They went for all the trouble transporting this 200,000 ton structure, across the world just to set it up in Central Park. Which if you watch the episode I'm talking about, they look deeper into it and tie the Freemasons to it, which I won't mention all that. You can watch the video yourself about it. Very good. But it just shows the point, man, that America is modern day Sodom and Egypt. Someone will say, well, how is it Sodom? I mean, well, what does the word Sodom mean? I don't have to go into detail on that. I mean, it's very self-explanatory. Why did the Lord, bring fire and brimstone upon the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah? Which, by the way, they found the ancient remains of those cities. It's over there next to the, what is it, the Dead Sea? Right, I found it. Look it up. You can do the research on that. Got idiots out here, claiming, oh, well, there's no archaeological evidence of the Bible. There's no evidence of the Bible. It's like, well, dumbass, what are you talking about? I mean, they found some of these sites. They found where the Red Sea crossing happened. Right, all you got to do is look at the Nuweiba Beach. Right, go into the water at the Nuweiba Beach, and you'll find out that there's still wreckage down there from Egyptian chariots that got destroyed by the waves when they were trying to chase the Israelites through the water. When you read the Exodus story. So that's a proof right there. Another good one is Mount Sinai has been found. It's located over in Saudi Arabia. You can find research on it. Look it up. So again, the evidence that supports the narrative or the stories in the Bible is truly overwhelming for anybody who's actually done some research into it. But they won't teach you this stuff in school, right? This stuff won't really be on the television, right? On the History Channel. Why? Because they don't want people to, believe in the Bible. They don't want you to believe it. That's why they rather push, this outer space doctrine, right? This, there's a quintillion other planets out there, right? There's distant galaxies that one day, humans will venture to, right? That's the idea they want to put out there, right? They want you to believe that, the world is only, 24,000, 900 miles in circumference. And, there's no more land out there to explore, at, that we've actually been to the moon, which anybody who believes in the moon landing, in 2023, I mean, either you're just willfully ignorant or you haven't looked into the subject. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. I was just watching this one debate the other day, which I'm going to do a video on this itself, so I won't go into detail on it here. But I was watching this debate against it was a Christian and a Muslim. They were having a conversation. And this one dude, right, the Christian, in the middle of the debate, he was trying to make a point for what they were arguing about. And then he, out of the blue, made a statement and said, "Oh, just like how nobody, um, people that question the moon landing." I'm nearly paraphrasing them. You can watch the debate on what is this channel called? Modern Day Debate. You can look it up. But the guy out of the blue says something along the lines of, "Oh, just like we all can agree that we went to the moon, right? We can all agree that the moon landing actually happened." Right, like he was trying to say, anybody who, believes the moon landing has actually, is a conspiracy. But you got to be crazy to believe that because we all know that it happened. It's like, wait a second, what the hell? Which, by the way, the topic they were debating literally had nothing to do with outer space or, the Earth in general. The dude just out of the blue, randomly mentioned that as if he's trying to, like, prove a point or something. Absolutely ridiculous, but they caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit. So this dude actually believes that NASA landed on the moon in the 60s. It's like, well, shit. Well, why the hell is it that they say that we can't get back there today in 2023, right? They said we lost the technology. We lost the technology to put a man on the moon today. Meanwhile, NASA's getting, what is it, like $53 million a day? Some people are saying 73 million. But last time I checked, it was 53 million, so I'll just go with that. Um, I mean, shit, that's a shit ton of money. I mean, you'd think out of, just say for an example, 10 years' time, so you can do the math on how much money that is, $53 million a day for, 365 days times 10. I mean, that's a shit ton of money right there. I mean, that surely has to be enough to at least put one person on the moon. Or I mean, shit, at least give us a 24/7 live feed from the surface of the moon, right? Go there, set up a live cam so we can have access to view the Earth from the moon, just like you supposedly have the, was it the ISS live feed 24/7? It's like, shit, well, for the hundreds of billions of dollars you're getting, it's like, is it really that difficult to go to the moon and set up a live feed from the surface of the moon so we can see the planet from the moon? But it won't happen. You know why? Because they can't do it. They can't go to the moon. Like, one thing I was thinking about the other day is I remember back to 2015, right? 2015, they were talking about how they want to, take a manned mission to Mars, right? So they can try to establish like a little, base or little colony on the planet Mars. So here it is, 2030 is like what, 7 years away now? There ain't no way that they're doing that. Shit, even if they could theoretically do it, even if space travel was real, they ain't gonna do it in 7 years. So it just shows you, man, that all of this stuff that has to do with outer space, there's something fishy going on with all this. Even for a person that doesn't believe in the flat Earth, I mean, shit, you can't tell me with a straight face that there's not something weird going on here when you talk about outer space. I mean, why is it that NASA claims that they lost all of their data from the moon missions? Why is it that, say for an example, the moon rocks that they gave to certain museums to put on display to the public, when they examined these rocks, it turned out that it was just pieces of wood. Look it up. So again, with all of these inconsistencies that we have from this corporation, it's like, any person with a reasonable mind could assume, yeah, something weird's going on here. Just because they're lying, that doesn't prove the Earth's not a globe. But there seriously is something weird going on there. Like, there's clearly some corruption going on, right? There's clearly some questions that they cannot answer. But I don't mean to go off on outer space and all that, but sometimes you gotta let the spirit flow when it brings out what it wants. But but going back to the original topic, man, is this place, surely damn well is, man, Sodom and Egypt. over here. There's some states over here, out of the 50 states, where they allow humans to have sexual intercourse with animals. Right, so the act of bestiality, look that word up. That's legal in some of the states over here, man. I mean, shit, over here, it's over here they're allowing 5 or 6 year olds to get gender replacement treatment. It's like, what the hell? I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. But then if you're the one who says something about it, you're viewed as the bad guy, right? You're viewed as the bad guy if you were to suggest, well, maybe if a boy that's 5 years old who claims that he's a girl, it's like, well, maybe he doesn't yet know the consequences of changing, actually going through the process of changing his body into a girl. Maybe it's just something that he heard another kid say that made him say it. You'd think people would be reasonable enough to assume that a 5 year old who might claim that they're actually the opposite gender, they might not be ready to understand what that actually means yet. It's just ridiculous, what's going on. Let me give you an example. Which is similar to the topic. A few years ago, I was walking back from the store, and I had to pass a park that's right next to the community, right? So I had to walk on the sidewalk. Um, so I see it. There were some kids that were, drawing with like chalk or something on the sidewalk, ahead of me. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I have to walk past them to get to where I'm going. So anyway, I walk past them. They're like, what, 4 or 5 years old, and I glance over at what it is that they're, etching in the road or the sidewalk with the chalk. And it's like, shit, these little, 4 or 5 year olds are drawing, pictures of, or I should say, images of, of balls and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, I didn't expect to see that. That caught me off guard. It's like, damn, even, like you'd, what's the word I'm looking for? I'd expect to see that at maybe, middle school or something like that. Wouldn't surprise me. But shit, little 4 or 5 year olds drawing images like that on the sidewalk next to the playground. It's like, oh shit. So it just shows you, man, that children today are hypersexualized. And that's what can cause something called a pre-precocious puberty. Look that up, which happens when a girl might enter puberty a few years before it's naturally supposed to happen. That can happen for certain reasons. They have to do with, well, I'll give an example. It could have to do with the foods that we eat. Could also do with how they're, in this society, they're exposed to sexual content early on. Like, shit, I'll give you an example, man. Um, with the whole porn thing, right? They say the statistics come out where it's like, I don't want to butcher them, but they were saying something along the lines of how the average age that children, first get exposed to, X-rated content like that is around like what, 10, 11 years old. Shit, I won't lie, man. I started watching that stuff when I was 9 years old. And I'm not even joking around. I'm being serious when I say that. Like I don't even mean a joke. I'm being serious when I say that. So and again, how did I find out about that? Well, I remember it to this day. I was watching this TV show. What is this called? What's that TV show called? Oh, what would you do is what it's called, right? What would you do? Something like that, where basically it's like a prank show or something, where they put people into different circumstances to see how the audience would react to it. You can look it up. Funny show, but anyway, that's how I won't get into the whole story, but that's what led me to looking into that subject, is because I heard it on a TV show when I was like 9 years old. So again, the children are exposed to these type of things early on in the society, man. So once again, it all goes back to the point that I'm trying to say is that, man, America truly is Sodom and Egypt, man. Right? America truly is defiled. That's why, all these other countries in the world, they're following some of these false ideologies. Like, I'll give you an example, right? The ideology that women have rights, right? What is it? Feminism, right? That women are equal to men, right? And that women, it's like, well, shit. Here they are talking about, oh, well, equal rights, right? Equal pay and equal rights. Well, what about, and then they'll turn around and say, for an example, which this isn't advice, but I'm just saying to give a hypothetical for the hypocrisy, is if a man and a woman got into a fight, she's allowed to hit the man, but if he hits her back, oh, well, he can get put in jail for that. It's like, but wait a second, isn't it equal rights? That part gets skipped over, though, right? Nobody talks about that, though, right? Women want equal rights, but then when it comes to the situation I just mentioned, then in that position they don't want equal rights. So again, it just shows the hypocrisy. But again, going back to my statement, man, you know, um, America is the one that's going around the earth and putting these false philosophies and false ideologies upon the people in these other nations. What is that? Revelation 17, verse 18, right? The woman you saw is that great city who reigns over the kings of the earth, right? That great city is America. And who's the kings of the earth? Well, the kings of the earth represent the rulers over these other nations, or these politicians that have a seat of power in the whatever country they come from. Right, those would be considered to be the kings of the earth. Sure, you still have kings on earth today. Most places they're called presidents, but you still have kings on earth today. Like over in what is it, over in England, right? They just got a king recently. Like what was it? Elizabeth died. I believe it was in September, right? September 2022, sometime there. Um, so yeah, England has a king right now. So again, it shows that they still have kings on earth. But again, presidents basically they are kings, but just by a different pronunciation, right? They're a dictator over a country. Like you got people, man, who try to be oversimplify things and they get themselves into like a trick bag because they are acting too simple. Like I'll give you an example. I was just having a debate. I want to say like 2 weeks ago with a couple preterists, right? Full preterists, which they believe that we're living in the kingdom of heaven today, right? And that all Bible prophecy is fulfilled. Then you ask them, I asked them a trick question because I asked them, the Bible says that when Christ returns, everybody would see him, right? Everybody would see his face when the kingdom set up. So if we're in the kingdom, well, why can we not see where Christ is? If Christ has dominion over all the nations on earth, just as it says in, what is that, Revelation 11, verse 15, it says the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and of Christ, and he'll have dominion over them forever. Nearly paraphrasing it. But again, where is he at then? Because it says that, what is that, Philippians, I want to say 2 and 10, where it says at the name of Christ every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that he's the Lord. So when the hell is that going to happen? First of all, you got billions of people on earth today who who reject the idea of Christ being the Messiah. Yeah, billions of people, whether they be Muslims, whether they be Hindu, whether they be an atheist. Last Thursday, inside joke. Look that up. I mean, shit, they're out there. They're out there. Look that word up if you don't know what that is. Right, right. Last Thursday is. But anyway, I digress. I digress. But the point of the matter is, it's like, well, shit. Well, Christ is here right now, but when the hell are these things gonna happen? Because you got billions of people on Earth that reject Christ. So how the hell does that make sense? So I mean, they're cut to shreds. They don't really have a response to answer these questions. They don't really know what the hell they're talking about. But anyway, I hope that video was edifying, and I'm gonna say shalom.